Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is for you, and welcome back to this DAYZ beginner talk through. I think we're calling it now part 4. We left off in part 3. I believe we're in the log cabin on Skalisty Island, about to swim back. At the end of part 3, I showed you on the DAYZ map where we plan to go next, but obviously we can't take into account what might happen, being as this is DAYZ. But it would be nice if we could do a little intermediate run inland today. Rather than hug the coast, I didn't get anything in the comments as to what people would specifically like to see next. So let's just go on the fly, stick to the original plan. And that would be, hoping that no one has spawned in here with us, first of all. Imagine someone's cooking. Let me just shut the door a second. There's a single shotty in here. But yeah, we'll probably swim over, go up towards Tulga. I'll show you a shortcut to that and check out one of the possible dynamic military convoys which can spawn on this map. And you can get a lot of loot. And I'll show you how close it is to certain spawn points. So you could theoretically spawn in and within 10-15 minutes have a plate carrier and a really good gun. But you'd have to be very, very lucky. Another thing, if you were playing, like we're not going to do it for the purposes of the video, we're going to push on and get off the island. But if you had to go, you know, you were gaming for 3-4 hours, IRL, you've got to go and do something, you've logged off on Skalisty Island. When you next log back in, if I were you, I would probably go and loot the island again. Because all the loot would have respawned, particularly if it's like the next day or 4, 5, 6 hours later since you last played. Why not go this time anti-clockwise before you swim back? And you can almost farm the island for potential loots. But we're not going to do that. While our food and water is in the white, and it's a little bit foggy today, isn't it, in Chernarus? You can barely make out Kamishovo through the fog that way. But we're going to go back down to the beach, and I'm going to try and get pretty much opposite the wooden jetty from where we swam across before, using the rocks to regain our stamina. So we're going to go through that a bit. If you want to fast forward the first 5-10 minutes of the video because you don't want to see me swimming, by all means. I didn't want to do it off stream though, or off recording rather, just in case we got sniped or we run into someone on this island. I wanted you to see exactly what I'm seeing for the first time with no bits cut out, hopefully. Unless we get performance issues like we did in Electro and we have to tab out for 30 seconds or so, but hopefully we'll be alright. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to swim to the close rock and then regain my stamina and go to one of the bigger rocks and then do one big final push for the shore. A lot of people on DayZ will not snipe you when you're in the water. I mean, if they're just evil, they will, just to kill you, just to spoil your day. But the reason they won't do it is you can't loot a body while it's in the water unless it's right close to the shore. But if you're in the middle of the sea, the water, oh, huge lag spike there, they can't get at your loot, so what would be the point? Most people will wait for you to get out the other side, where you're all vulnerable, climbing out of the water, then they'll take a pop at you. So, wow. Was that at me? That seems particularly scripted, that timing. Wow. Is that at me? Alright. Plan for the video has just changed. We're going back. You've got to... I mean, this is... It'd be great if we could go over the other side, run away from the shots. I could show you, you know, parts of Chernarus that you haven't seen yet, particularly if you're new to DayZ. But when you're a more intermediate player, or you've been playing for a while, or if you're just an aggressive type of player, you might want to chase shots like that. Now, I don't know if that's bait, whether somebody saw me swimming and they fired a few shots to get me back, and if so, it worked. It certainly got my attention. Is that somebody that's really blasé because it's a low pop at the moment, this server? There's only about 10 people on, because I'm recording it quite early in the morning UK time. Are they just super blasé and they're just shooting zombies? They can't be bothered fighting them? Could be. The chance of there being 2 people over here, as well as myself, and they're now in the middle of a gunfight or someone's been murdered is unbelievable to me, but it could happen. It's DAYZ. We're taking a huge risk going back. Part 4 might be the last part of this particular character's journey playthrough. Let me know in the comments if you would want me to start another one. I am sort of looking at the analytics a lot more for the channel this year, so if I see, as I have noticed, the views drop off, the likes drop off, it literally is not worth me, you know, putting more and more out. We would switch it up and try something different. That's what I'm trying to say. Maybe start a new character, go somewhere new. But let me know in the comments what you would like to see when this character eventually dies, because everybody dies in DayZ eventually. It's not your loot, it's just your turn. I don't know how close or far or where those shots were from. Okay? Somebody could be over here trying to build a base and they're just shooting the zombies because they're getting on their nerves. Someone could come up behind us and put a bullet in the back of our head at any second. But I thought, what if they are in this castle area shooting zombies and then eventually they run down and across, just, you know, down this track? We might have a shot on them. You can hear my character shivering, which is going to possibly give away our position if they're inside. So if you hold your right button on your mouse, if you're on PC, or your right trigger on console, you'll aim down sight like this. Not aim down sight. Hold it as if you're going to hip fire. And if you hold that position, a little bit of a tip for you, your character will not shiver, even if you're very, very cold. So it's a good way of stopping that audible giveaway, if you like, of your position. This blaze is great close quarters, right? So if a guy run in front of me now and we've got the iron sight ready, it's pretty good. It's pretty accurate. So sometimes I'll drag my scope off. You can see that little red dot at the end of the blaze on the iron sight. And it acts almost like a shotgun, like a double barrel shotgun that shoots 308. So if you're in a close quarter situation, like if you're pushing a building, take the scope off. And if you see someone in the distance, just put the scope back on. Because if someone runs right up in my face, didn't hold it long enough then to stop my character shivering. If somebody runs right up in my face and I've got the scope on, it's going to be an almost impossible gunfight for me to win. The shivering might give us away here, guys. If we die really early in the video, I'll start a new life and I'll talk through my looting process. Hopefully we get a different spawn to last time, just to take the video up to sort of the hour mark. But then you'd have to let me know, do you want me to continue that character or not, you know? Shivering again, this is annoying. I can hear footsteps the other side of the wall to me. Pretty sure I can hear footsteps. My shuffling doesn't help. Or is that just a... The place I'm thinking they might be is on top of there, but... Remember the wooden ladder we went up? I'm trying to be as patient as possible, which goes against every fibre of my natural being. So that if someone was up on top of there for some god knows what reason shooting zombies, we get sight on them before they see us. Here's the shiver again, great. If a zombie aggro's on us, we're in trouble as well. And they could just be sitting in these trees, the zombies. Alright, nobody on the stairs by the looks of it. So were they down on the beach? Were they on the lighthouse? Doing crazy things? We're going to be really open in a second, so this could be trouble. But I want to get around the other side of this wall to my right. He could be just an idiot on the top of the tower there. Doesn't look like it. This is one of those situations where whoever sees who first will probably win the gunfight. Sounds like they've got a really good ranged weapon. Oh my god, what am I doing? Can't see anything. They were definitely behind us, the shots, back on the island. Because at first I thought they were at me. You want to hold your breath and keep the scope steady. Hold control on your keyboard while you're aiming down sight like this. Use the mouse wheel to scroll in and out if you've got a hunting scope. To vary up, switch up the range of what you're using. Has to be a hunting scope though. Most other scopes will be set to whatever magnification they come with. Hunting scope will let you zoom in and out, which is nice. It's a big enough island though that unless this guy shoots again or we see him clearly, we may have to just scratch this attempt. But I had to go back and have a look. What if some guy was just fishing down there, you know? Then you've got to wrestle with your own moral compass. Do you leave him alone or do you just take him out? But it just seems very bizarre. If those shots weren't at us, first of all, they should have hit because we were an easy target if they were at us. The next question would be, if they weren't at us, where were they and why was our fella shooting? Let's take the scope off again and let's head back over here. We've wasted the first 13 minutes of the video, but I say wasted. We could have gone back and saw someone fishing on the beach there and got an easy kill. Crept to within range, hit them with the blaze, game over. Big come up, potentially, if they've got some nice loots. But like I say, you can fast forward this bit if you want to just see me on the other side showing you the shortcut to Tulga if we survive the swim. This player might be waiting for us to get back in the water before taking another shot, you know? But yeah, I'm still keeping the scope off. They could have repositioned. And like I say, are waiting for us this side. Very bizarre, that was. Very bizarre. Could have been on the back side of the island. Two guys having a fight by that red stilted building. But to be honest, I don't want to waste too much time chasing shots. I wanted to see if I could see them immediately. Get that pretty much banker easy kill. They could be in a building looting while we were scoping down to the beach then. They could be anywhere is the point I'm trying to make. And I did get sucked back in towards the shots. It's up to you how you play those situations. Do you just think, oh shit, let's go, let's get out of here? Or do you think always in a positive spin. Well, what we might get if we go back and get the kill. Here's what you could have won. But we are massively now taking a risk going back into the water because we know there's a shooter behind us somewhere, and could be curtains. Could be curtains. I can't see anybody on the beach. Anyone obvious? If they were up there taking a pot shot at us from the going into the water, again, I would think, why are you doing this? Why you do this? Because you're not going to be able to get my loot. I mean, standing still is stupid, but I just wanted to have a look at the tower. So I'm going to go back into the water. By all means, skip the first 15 minutes of the video. We may die doing this swim, especially as we get out of the water to regain our stamina. Because I don't want to be doing the breaststroke all the way over. And the guy, if he's clever, will take a shot at me while I'm on the rocks, because then my body will fall on the rocks, and they can then loot me at their leisure. But I'm trying to get back in the water, A, for spiteful reasons. If they kill us, they won't be able to get our loot, so it's a bit like a big F you, middle finger to them. If you want to kill me now, by all means do it, but you won't get any of this loot. And also, it's just quicker. You know, we want to be dipping in and out. Regain your stamina as high as you can. Then when it's full, do the front crawl. Remember, you're pressing shift on the keyboard if you're on PC. Same as you would do when you're sprinting on land. As long as you've got stamina, your character will front crawl, make this swim a lot less arduous than it needs to be. The idea would be, we pop up on the other side. We run quickly into the trees towards... There's a couple of houses on the main road. And we can wring our clothes out inside one of those houses with some relative safety. I'll say relative safety. Not completely safe. So let me go around this rock now. And then my character should, in a minute... Yeah, there you go. Get onto the rock. Hopefully that little bit of movement would throw off any sniper that was looking at us. And if we can get onto this little lip of this rock here, maybe the rock will give us protection from the island. We can put our back to it, regain our last bit of stamina, and do the last bit of the swim. That should take about 3 minutes, maybe 2 minutes, 2.5. We'll see. We'll time it. You know, it seems like a lifetime when you're in the water, but it's actually not that long to swim over to Skalisty. So that full stamina, now we got to do this bit. Now this bit's a pain. Because you front crawl until you've got no stamina left. Then you will breaststroke while you regain your stamina, and you've just got to rinse and repeat that process. All the while, dark blue temperature, in danger of losing health due to the cold, but doing okay at the minute. It's not flashing dark blue. That's when you need to start worrying. As soon as my stamina gets back up full, press down on the shift again. It's absolutely pissing down with rain. Which doesn't matter because we're already soaking. And you might think then, well, why are you bothering rinsing off your clothes if it's peeing down with rain? Well, the rain will soak your clothes a lot slower over a longer period of time than it will do by just jumping in the sea, obviously. So we still want to rinse our clothes that we are able to rinse out from drenched or soaked down to damp, which is the maximum you can do it when you wring clothes out in your hands. And then you either get in front of a fire to get rid of that last bit of dampness, or it will gradually dry out as you run around. But while it's raining, you're then going to start going from damp to wet to soaked to drenched all over again. But it will be through stages, whereas jumping in the sea just does it straight away from dry to drenched. As soon as we get out of this water, the guy might snipe us in the back. GG's. There's not a lot we can do, apart from if you were playing, you weren't doing a video for YouTube, you might stay on that island, look for him for hours. You know, it's completely up to you what you do. But for the purposes of the video, that would be pretty boring, unless we got into a great gunfight, but nothing's guaranteed in DayZ. So we're just getting the flock out of there. We're doing a little bit of zigzagging, just moving our head. But to be honest, this ain't Call of Duty. It isn't going to save your life a lot. And look at that. Wellies on the dock and a load of loot. Now, that is bizarre. Going back for this gun cleaning kit could cost us our life. But if you remember our IJ, our close range weapon, if you don't class the DAYZ as a close range weapon, our IJ is damaged, so we could really do with fixing it up with a gun cleaning kit, and we can show you that process as well if we don't get sniped in the back. Shit. Oh man, we haven't got any room for this. We've got food on us as well that we should be eating. If there's a player here and my hands are full, I've got to drop the gun cleaning kit, whip out the gun, or I can try and use my voice to talk them down from shooting me. Oh my god, there's a fire going. Would you believe it? So whoever's been fishing is probably cooking the fish there right now. That's the wrong gun, bro. So again, you've got to wrestle with your own moral compass. Do you walk up to the door and speak? Hello, hello, can I help you? Can I join you at the fire? Just passing through, I don't mean any harm. Or do you rush into the building and risk everything? Literally risk everything for the sake of maybe getting some nice loot. They might have locked the door. And so if they've locked the door, we're shivering, by the way, as well, so we're going to give it away, our position, possibly. If they've locked the door, we can't rush them. Now this doorway, that building is a good place to have a fire. GG's to that person, because there's a front door and then there's a door immediately to your left. So I would have to rush through 2 doors, and the chances are they would be able to pull out their gun by the time we get there, okay? Now if they've got a shotgun, and we're pushing them with an IJ, or even the DAYZ with the iron sight, we're probably going to lose that fight. There is a big window which looks into the fireplace where they're probably sitting. This side, and there is some elevation on the hill, so can we get an angle into that window and take the easiest shot of our lives? There's a chance of it, but it's no, look, there's not much of a hill here. Okay? If they're standing up, we'll get them. But any... Oh, I can see their head a little bit. Oh, it's not enough. Take your backpack off. Right? Lose some weight from your character. And you will regain some of your stamina. Be able to hold your breath for longer. Look at that though, bro. There we go, headshot. They stood still for far too long at the window. GG's. Now the other debate we've got is, are there 2? I didn't really look to see if I could see 2 different types of hat. So best to always assume they've got a friend, even if it's a low population server. Say you jump on and there's only like 10 people in the server. Don't assume, oh, because there's only 10 people, including yourself, they're alone. We know what assuming does. Makes an ass out of you and me. But that was also a headshot. They were wearing no helmet. It's a 308 DAYZ, so I could tell by the animation. Characters will make different animations when they fall unconscious to when they are killed, dead. And the way that guy fell, I've played the game long enough that I've got used to the different death or uncon animations. So we know that was a death by the way they fell, and you can do the maths anyway. It was a headshot on a woolen hat. Remember the shots that were over there, though, earlier, that we went and looked for? That person, whoever they are, has probably heard those shots and now could be run into the beach and attempting to make the swim over to investigate, right? I've dropped the scope because if I'm going to push this building, I only want my eye in sight. I don't want to use a fancy scope for close range engagements. You can stand on the bed and get more elevation, so any friend might be tucked up in the corner here. Okay, I've seen people there before. They might stand on the bed and just get in the corner by the wardrobe. What I'm doing as well is I'm listening. Can I hear footsteps inside? Okay, that's what I'm looking for. I can hear the fire dwindling, burning out. I'm worried. I'm really exposed to the back, to this side, the railway. They didn't lock their door, or they haven't got a lockpick. They've shut that internal door. The friend, if they were really clever, could have run out and positioned themselves here, thinking that I would be hyper-focused on that door, and then they would get an easy shot in the back to me, but they didn't. Or there is no friend. No lockpick at all. Assume there's a second person holding the angle. Right? The only angle they could be now is in this corner. They can be nowhere else in this room. There's the poor victim's legs. And they were alone. So we get our lockpick out. Locking this door will buy us some time if somebody comes to disturb us. This person could get a spawn very, very close by and come and get us, basically. The big bad wolf. And now all I'm doing is I'm making room for some loot. Now, what do I want to take? My food and water's okay, right? Always use this as your rule of thumb. Don't overstay your welcome, okay? Scene of the crime, blah, blah, blah. This guy had the same gun as us, the DAYZ. So we'll take the 2 bullets out. They had a shotgun. I'm not interested, am I? Oh, do you know what? As a close-range weapon, it would be good. Right. We left chlorine tablets over in the corner. Remember where we dumped some of our loot? We'd take a full gun cleaning kit. More 308 for our DAYZ. This guy, the fisherman. Like I said, wrestle with your own conscience, what you would do in that situation. I haven't got a problem at all doing it. Swap out the bandage. A slither of a bandage for a full bandage. And look, I could keep the jig, okay? We've got a fishing hook. We've got lots of fishing hooks. Chicken is not as good meat as fish, calorie-wise, so I'm taking the chicken. The fish, sorry. Couple of slices, get rid of the chicken. Alright, and then, you know, you could take the shotgun over the fishing rod. Now we've got rid of the jig. Has he got green slugs in this? No red slugs, so that's lovely. Because in a close range situation, these red slugs, you can quite easily hip fire them. You don't have to be super accurate because they shoot out as buckshot. And we want to not get sniped the way we just sniped this guy. So I'm going to put that there. That's going to be our new close quarters gun with the IJ as backup, or we can use it now suppressed to shoot zombies. Now what you want to do is go prone on the body. I didn't do that straight away, which is just stupid, but there you go. We'll swap a stack of 20 there. We'll take that single one. We've got tons of good things. We don't need an M-lock now and an IJ because we've got the suppressed IJ. It just allows us to take another bit there. Poor guy, cooking up his fish. Can't wait for the hate comments. Why didn't you talk to him? Why didn't you be his friend? That's your own decision, right? You do you, I'll do me. Simples. I'm probably spending far too long here, okay, at the scene of the crime. Like I say, do as I say, not as I do. You'll see me making contradictions all the time. I can't help it. I've just got a bit of a blasé way of playing naturally myself. And to try and retrain my way of playing for a beginner guide or a talk through is quite difficult. But notice now, we're not going to wring our clothes out, our drenched clothes. I just wanted to see if anything else is fixable. I'll tell you what they have got, though. Maybe. Oh, their clothing is still soaked. But they've got better gloves for me than my improvised ones. That's a really nice bag, actually. This dry bag. Because it's black as well. I'm pretty sure it holds more space. And so we're going to try something risky, yeah? Right, I'll show you another method of carrying more loot. And, well, it does what it says on the tin, really. You carry it in your hand, okay? Now, the problem being, you then haven't got a way of getting your gun out before you drop. You've got to drop the bag quickly. And then pull your gun out. So it's very risky. But I would rather sort out my loot, switch my stuff from my bag to this guy's bag in the safety of the trees. So we're taking a huge risk here. If someone's outside, they've heard the shots, they've chased me down, we're dead, pretty much. Unless I can drop the bag, pull out my gun, all in one movement. Didn't I leave something else here as well? No? Okay. Food and the chlorine tabs, they're not essential. Oh, flipping hell, zombie. So look what I'm going to do now. I'm going to drag the zombie. I'm assuming they're chasing me. No, they've lost me. Okay, that's a bit lucky. I was going to drag him into the trees. But for the purposes of where we're going next, Tulga. Remember we brought it up on the map at the end of the last episode. You line yourselves up with the house where we just shot that guy. Right, line yourselves up and then just go straight up the hill. Okay? You are going to want to veer slightly to the right, but don't worry about that yet. Particularly if you're in a situation like we just got ourselves in. You want to get away from the scene of the crime. Okay? That victim might have got a Kamishovo spawn or a Three Valleys spawn, and they're sprinting back as we speak. They're going to try and cave our head in with a pipe wrench or something. So, and it can happen. They could easily catch us with our pants down. So, yeah, let's leave the blaze there. So we've got our two close quarter guns. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my favourite type of tree to switch bags. So you get yourself, back yourself up into one of these like fir trees. Combine these, and we're going to try and sort this loot out. I mean, I'm not going to take the unknown food now, because remember, it's a little bit dodgy, the unknown food. We don't need the 9mm, because we've ditched. Remember us ditching the, what's that? 308. 308. Alright, we've got plenty of 308. To be honest, we don't need all those stone knives now either. Where's our blaze? Put that back on the blaze. See, I'm trying to do this relatively quickly. The suppressor's badly damaged. We don't need the bones because we've got plenty of hooks in our cooking pot. We've also got this jig now that we can add to the cooking pot. We'll eat that piece of fish. Okay? We'll keep that in case we want to make a suppressor. Do you know what? I actually would rather protect that and that. Right, leave that there. Sometimes it can be a bit fiddly, DAYZ. Spare green slugs for our double barrel. The lockpick. We've got the rangefinder, which has got a battery in it. The head torch has got a battery in it. Our radio hasn't. We don't need it, though, at the minute. Some more Mosin ammo in case we find a Mosin shotgun. We'll keep that type of ammo as well. And we obviously want to keep the full stack of chlorine tabs. By all means, take the food with you as well if you've got room for it. But there's shots back on the island again. What are they doing? But I like this dry bag. It does what it says on the tin. It'll keep your stuff dry if you go off swimming. Look at me. I was filling up my old bag again. We're leaving it behind. Wake up. I do not know what that guy is doing back there. They must be baiting. Must be. Let's eat the fish. I mean, what are you doing? I almost wish I'd got clapped eyes on him now. That was a nice cheeky little headshot though. We were patient. We waited for them to make a mistake and stand up in front of the window, and there you go. For all the negative comments, you know, why you do this? Why you do this? We've taught that guy a valuable lesson. I bet they don't stand up in front of that window again in the future. I'll bet you anything. While I'm in the tree, I'm going to ring out this. We're going to let the blood pressure die down. Get a little bit of an adrenaline rush when you get into a fight, even if it's a nice clean snipe, a very, very one-sided fight like that one. We didn't know if there was a second. We had to clear the building. There's pressure. The adrenaline's rushing when you're clearing the corners. So you're looting frantically. That guy didn't even bother swimming over to chase the shots. So he must live on Skalisty Island, whoever they are. Good luck to him. And if that's the only fun they get is by baiting. You can't ring out certain items of clothing. You'll get used to which items they are. But if you just want to check, what can I ring out when something is wet, soaking or drenched, just put it in your hands and then it'll give you the indicator to the bottom left there, ring, hold down left button on the mouse, or it won't. There will be no indicator that you can ring it out if it's something you can't ring. Does what it says on the tin. Pretty straightforward. These caps you can ring out, but there are some hats that you can't. Like a cowboy hat. Even though I feel you would badly misshape the hat, you probably should be able to ring out a cowboy hat. But there you go, I digress. Helmets, for example, you clearly can't ring out. And these baseball caps. Take quite a long time to ring out. You'll need to go through 3 full rotations. Then it's done. Now, you can't do the shoes, can't do the bags. It's dry anyway. Can't get gloves better than damp. And we're ready to go. I want to make sure everything's fully loaded, which it is. Scope's back on the blaze. If somebody jumps out of us in the trees, we got a good chance of getting them with the double barrel now. The IJ would have been, you know, the IJ is a very good pistol. You can spam it, you can aim down sight with it, but this double barrel with buckshot gives you the flexibility if you're particularly poor with your aiming, like I am as well most of the time, unless someone's standing still in front of a fire. You can hip fire this because of it being red slugs, buckshot. It gives you a bit of leeway, you know, room for error. Notice how I'm going slightly right, but I'm pretty much just following the gradient up the hill, okay? Do not go too far left, do not go too far right. Just look for the top of the hill, and then eventually you'll start seeing roofs, the roof of buildings. Happy days. Now, I don't want to loot this town. We just fired a weapon close by, a loud one as well. So I'm skirting around town, but of course, I'm having a little look. You never know whether we get a victim number 2, making a little fire, minding their own business, or filling up at the well, and I'll show you where the well is. See where that zombie is. Where is it? There, the other side of the shed, see? So if you are desperate for water after leaving Skalisty Island, you probably won't be because there's a well on Skalisty. But there's your well in Tulga, I believe this is called. We're going to take a risk here. We're going to go prone under the tree. I'm going to tab out, and I'm going to show you guys the map again. So even though I'm putting on the Be Right Back screen, I'm not going anywhere. Let me just put that on for you. Tab out, bring up I Survive, share my screen with you. Now remember we were over on Skalisty. Ignore the stupid adverts. We logged off in this log cabin, and we ran across here. We doubled back, but then eventually we swam across, okay, to the mainland. We went along the wooden jetty, and that house is where we murdered the guy. We took the shot from here through the window, okay? And then, as you can see, there's Tulga, where we are now. Pretty much, we're in the trees here, opposite the well. There's the indicator on I Survive of what the well is. So we've, like I say, we've just run up the trees. We've just run up in a straight line-ish. See how it's slightly to the right, but you don't want to go too far, left or right. And now in Tulga, do what you got to do if you need loot. There's only the well and then residential buildings. And then if you follow the road, I'm going to go slightly off the road, but if you're new to the game and you don't want to get lost, literally follow the road and it will take you to where I want to check out next. There's a potential military convoy spawn. They're dynamic, they're random. Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. I don't know what the percentage is. It feels like it's about 5% or 10%. Let me know in the comments if you know. I do want to hit this deer stand as well on the way for potential hunting stuff. But let me give you the screen back for the game. There we are. And we're going to make our way. We're going to skirt around the town. When you get a bit more confident about the way you're going, we're going that way basically. You don't want to be walking along the main road because you make yourself an easy target for snipers, you know? So you want to stick to the trees, but keep an eye on the points of interest that are around you and just head in the general direction of where you're going, but not along the main road. Okay, so we're going that way. See the main road? If you took the main road to the convoy spot, it would be that one. But I'm going the long way around because I don't want to walk up the middle of the road. There could be bases here. There could be people who were drawn to the shots and they happen to be by the military convoy and now they're making their way up towards the shots because they know this map like the back of their hand and they think, ooh, that sounded like it was down by Skalisty, or they've heard that other idiot shooting over on Skalisty, doing whatever they're doing. Because there's no animal spawns on Skalisty either, or there may be now with foxes and rabbits. Were they just hunting rabbits? Dear, dear, dear. We'll leave Elmer Fudd over there to their own devices. The chances of there being someone on Skalisty and then some poor sod cooking up their fish in the log cabin the opposite side on a low population server, that was pretty scripted, I'll say it. I'll beat you to it, lads. You know who you are. But anyway, GG's to that guy. He made a big mistake and hopefully it'll teach him a lesson not to stand up at windows. But we've all done it. Doesn't matter how many hours you got in the game. You get a bit blasé, a bit complacent. It's probably one of the biggest killers in DayZ, complacency. Now we're going to get the blaze out, right? Because if someone jumps us in the trees, we can hip fire the blaze. We've got 2 single shots. We only need 1 to land, and it'll probably knock them out minimum. Unless they're wearing, like, full plate carrier helmet. I'd still expect it from that distance, though, to knock them out. I want to check this picnic table. Can't see any smoke coming out of chimneys. I can't see any other fires. So I'm just pushing on. Picnic tables like this in DayZ have the potential to spawn what I would call hunting gear, hunting loot. So I always like to check them. And in case I miss something, I tab in. Say I wouldn't have probably saw that tourist map because I'm legally blind. But if you tab in, it tells you if there's anything in the vicinity, and I'm not interested. We'll leave it. If you don't want to use iSurvive, a third-party map website, you want to keep the immersion, by all means grab an in-game physical paper map, and then you can open it up yourself in-game and try and figure out where you are, where you're going. With the help of a compass, that's a very fun way of playing the game and learning the map, in my opinion. But I'm not going to be a snob. Some people are quite snobby about it. Don't use any third-party websites. Yeah, just let people play the game how they want. You know, they paid the money, same as you. Don't really like the gatekeeping, people telling you, you should do this, you should do that. I'd rather say, if you want to keep it immersive, you can do that. If you want to learn very, very quickly the map and where you are and where you're going next, just use iSurvive. You know, it's pixels at the end of the day. It's no biggie. It's not very deep. Let's go up here and have a look. These deer stands will also spawn hunting loot. Sometimes it'll be something crap like a heat pack or a sweater. But, you know, other days you can find a blaze like this one. Particularly the more inland you go, okay? General rule of thumb, there is a tier system of loot on all the maps. closer you are to the coast, you'll only find tier 1 weapons unless you go to somewhere like Skalisty Island or the Prison Island further down west. And then as you go inland, more north, more northwest, you will find better loot, tier 2, tier 3, and then there are tier 4 areas. So don't go to the deer stands on the coast expecting to find a Mosin. Those were the days where you could do that. It's a bit more likely now you'll find slightly shitter hunting loot, for want of a better word. So I know where the convoy starts and ends on this road. But like I say, if you'd followed the road, you'd just be walking down there where we're looking. But I want to come up here. If there was a convoy or is a convoy and there's somebody already looting it, I want to be able to have a little pop at them maybe, instead of walking along the main road and bumping straight into them. And they've already looted an M4 or a FAMAS is more likely. It's not here, I'm pretty sure. You'd be able to see it through the trees. It spawns on this road in front of me. Okay, you'll see tanks, trucks, military zombies will have spawned in around it. So there's a deer over there, or an elk, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, the military zombies, there'll be quite a few of them, so be wary. You might want to approach from the back, pause, and just draw them onto you one at a time. Kill the military zombies, see if they've got any loot on them, and then start hitting the vehicles. Stuff will spawn inside the vehicles, on top of the vehicles, in and around the vehicles, so really search thoroughly. And you won't be able to miss it. If it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's clearly not. Like, it's not here at the moment. And the last vehicle will be on the bend. It'll be like a, I'm pretty sure it's a Humvee, the last vehicle on the end of that bend. But it's not here, but it's good to know. It's good for you to know where it could be. And I'll show you what I meant by when I said earlier you can spawn in to Chinaris and within 10 minutes have a plate carrier, because if there was a convoy there, I'll show you where 3 Valleys is now, okay? If you go back and pause the video when the map was up, have a look where we were in Skalisty, or have a look in part 3. Maybe I went up the... But basically we're going up the coast, okay? So we're going north, northeast, from Kamishovo, Skalisty Island, where we just were. The little couple of houses where we killed that poor fisherman. Carry on going what I would call up the coast, keeping the water on your right-hand side, and the next little area and spawn area you will get to is a place called 3 Valleys, and we're going down there now. And if you spawn in 3 Valleys, you can take the road up, which is this road, straight up to that possible convoy. Now, it was just at the top of that hill there. Okay, there it is. There's the road. Now we're going to sprint it because we've got a load of fish on us. I'm not worried about food and water. Watch how quick we get down to the end of this road where you could potentially spawn, kill a couple of zombies, maybe find some food, and then instead of hugging the coast, go straight inland and maybe check out to see if there's a military convoy. You can always go back to the coast by running down the hill and coming out opposite where we just shot that guy. See how everything is interlinked when you know what you're doing? It's easy for me to say, but you can come inland this way and then go back to the coast that way, down the hill, you know? Initially, when you first play and you think, oh my god, where have I gone now? How have I got so lost? Give it a few hundred hours, you'll soon be taking shortcuts like we just did today and doing the reverse of it to do a completely different route. Let's see, we're gonna see a barn in a second. There you go. Alright, so we're down the end of the road now, pretty much. If you want to get some water before going to check that potential convoy, you can follow the road there and it will lead you straight to a well. And the well is right next to that red roofed house at the side of that barn, okay? There are some houses to loot along the way, so you might want to go that way first. And I don't want to overcomplicate things, but there is a route inland then to a place called Mista, and then you're close to Stalroy, and then you're starting to work towards Novi, Starry, and Northwest Airfield and all that good stuff. VMC, Vibor. I don't want to overcomplicate it. Let me know in the comments if you want to see this character go to some of the higher tier military areas. By all means, we probably will do that. But I want to show you how close you are to the coast, how close you are to the three valleys spawn. And there's also a potential police crash convoy on this main road. So again, you could spawn in your shorts and t-shirt with a bandage and an apple and a glow stick, and you could spawn right in front of a police officer zombie, which is wearing a stab vest, and they're stood next to a parked police car which has a Pioneer scout rifle on it, you know, with a scope, and a Glock with a magazine. This spawn can be incredible on occasion. There is a dynamic train here as well. Obviously we can see it. It's not always here, this train. It will dynamically and sporadically spawn in, and it will usually give you stuff like bags, clothing, melee weapons, lockpicks. So by all means, if you were a fresh spawn, you would be all over that train, but you would be wary of the 6 to 10 zombies that spawn around it. Okay, you can make them out through the trees, so if you're not very familiar with how to fight zombies, take your time with this one. Cheese it if you have to. Get your knife out or your melee weapon. Climb into one of the carriages. Call the zombies over to you and hit them from the relative safety of the carriage. I'm not going to bother today though. That one might hear us. There's no police crash convoy. If there was, it would be right in front of that beige house where that zombie is. But see how many zombies spawn around this train? If you were to run and aggravate all of them, you're probably going to die. Oh, I put my knife away by accident. So we're just blocking, heavy hit, step in, heavy hit, dead. Because we're using a very good melee weapon, the hunting knife, on zombies. So you've got a couple of choices now. Do you carry on up the coast to a town called Solnichny, where there is a medical center, so if you need medical supplies, that's your closest hospital, the next town up. It's very close. There we are. You can see the brick building. I think it's an abandoned sawmill or quarry factory. There is a quarry there, so it's probably something to do with a quarry. See, look how close it is. I'm looking at the time of the video, 48 minutes. We're going to go there anyway, and we're probably going to log off in Solnichny. And then I want to hear from you guys. Do you want me to go to Dolina, which is inland, and then start heading towards Staroy, Novi, Starry, VMC, Northwest Airfield, all that good stuff? Or do you want me to go up the coast from Solnichny, carry on hitting up the spawn areas like Nizhny, the big town of Berezino, all the way up to the top, Zvetlo, the most northeasterly spawn, other than a little fishing village, Bereziki, which is even further north of Zvetlo. And then from there we could go west along the northwest highway, if you like. And I can show you some really good places to loot up there, just in case you get a northeastern spawn. It's completely up to the comment section. If we don't get any or suggestions or hardly any at all, we'll just play it by ear. To be honest, I'm leaning towards going inland from Solnichny to Dolina, and then from there to Stalroy. There is another potential military convoy spot at the far end of Dolina, so another good reason to go inland if you have a Solnichny spawn. I would say it's more of an intermediate route, you know, so this would be taking its turn from beginner walkthrough to an intermediate. I wouldn't say advanced, but, you know, intermediate for sure. You'd have to get yourself sorted first, though. You'd have to do a bit of fishing, get really lucky in town and find 3 or 4 cans of food. But if you can get yourself to have the same sort of statistics of what I've got now in the HUD, white water, white food, all the good stuff. Maybe even a pistol or a shotgun with a couple of slugs. Then I would probably, from here, Solnichny, I would probably go inland to Dolina. And there is a road that literally leads all the way out to Dolina. I'll show you a really nice vantage point now of Solnichny, because we've got the scope. Excuse me, I got a bit of an IRL tickly cough. Now, never would I sit up here potentially sniping freshborns. Of course I wouldn't do that. How very well dare you even intimate that I would do something so disgusting. It's just pure coincidence that I happen to know this very spot under this very tree that overlooks the whole town. It's pure coincidence. What unbelievable scenes. Now, we were close enough to the town that we could have spawned the zombies in. I don't want to get too technical about this, but the zombies will only spawn in if a player is in the vicinity. And I believe it's something like 300 meters. Now, I need people to correct me in the comments. I'm not Mr. Technical. I'm not Wobo. I don't know the intricacies. I just love the game. I just play the game. But there is a specific figure. So if I had come the long way round and I'd crept up these rocks, I don't know if I'm 300 meters or not. I think I am within 300 meters. So any zombies I see down there, like this fella, they could be what I would call my zombies. Okay? If you definitely have not been within, let's say the figure is 300 meters, and you've got a rangefinder, and you can look down the rangefinder like we've got, and you can see with a battery in it, it will tell you, look, we're only 166 meters away from that building. We're only 239 from that building. So these zombies that we're seeing are definitely our zombies, or very likely. But if we saw a zombie over by the gas station, 600 meters away, that's not our zombie. So another player is either there now or has been there very recently. Okay, so just bear that in mind. If you're overwatching a town from a greater distance of 300 meters and you haven't been anywhere near that town and you see zombies in the town, there's either a player there or they were there very recently. But people who've not played the game longer than me or have looked into these figures, let me know in the comments what the true figure is or what it is believed to be. There's almost like some urban myths around DayZ, I believe, but this one is true. I'm just overwatching. There's the medical center anyway. In the middle of town, there's a couple of chilled zombies. No zombies have their elbows up, which will show they have recently been aggravated by another player. We can't see zombies physically chasing players. Can't see any players. The well in Solnichny is opposite the medical center, okay? It's just being cut off by that beige building. There's a hunting store there, which will spawn hunting gear, but because it's so close to the coast, it's probably going to be shitty loot. But there's plenty of houses for you to loot, for your food, the gear you will need. There's an industrial area over here, and this is the best bit. This little military barracks here, you usually spawn on the coast there, Solnichny, or over this side by these fishing boats, okay, usually there. So if you're running in, looting, a bit trickier to get to from that side, but if you've spawned in right on the beach there, see how close you are to these, and they are civilian military barracks. I've run into these before and come out with a Colt with a magazine and 5 shots. Boxes of 45 ammo. You have to be very lucky. It's very situational and timing based, time critical, but you can come out with lots of decent loot. That's what I'm trying to say. And yeah, we're probably going to go inland, and the route inland we're going to take, if I don't break my leg, that'd be great. You get my shotgun out in case someone's creeping in the trees. I haven't seen any players. I haven't seen any zombies running after players. And to be honest, with the gear we've got now, they won't have anything that we need, will they? We'd have to just be doing it for malicious purposes. I mean, to be fair, that other guy we killed gave us a double-barrel shotgun. Much better close-range weapon than what we had, with a few shots as well. A full cleaning kit. And look at the fish. We've already eaten one bit. We've now got 5 fish to carry with us. They will go rotten if we leave them in there for too long. So I'm going to eat them. Remember, I like to try and practice what I preach, but do as I say, not what I do. I did say in the previous videos, eat everything as soon as you can. It's weighing you down. There's no point in taking up room in your inventory. So while we're walking to our next sort of destination, I will be nibbling on the fish along the way. But as you can see, there is a road that leads inland from Solnichny, and I'm going to give you some perspective of where it is, but I should have probably done that from up here more. Could loot the military barracks, but I'm probably not going to find anything great there. But yeah, let's get down here a little bit. Still up the hill and out of the way, but there's a main road, main street that runs right through Solnichny. Okay, past the tuck shop. There's that beige building. The well is on the other side. There's the blue medical. There's a main road runs straight through the middle of Solnichny, and that's the way we're going next. We're going to head towards a little town called Dolina. Some little bits and pieces on the way. Dolina starts getting interesting. There's a police station in Dolina, a PD, where you can get some nice loots. Like I said, you're close to a little summer camp. You're close to another potential military convoy spot. So I would suggest if you get a spawn 3 valleys, you run up to Tulga, you check that one, hit up a few houses, hit the well, maybe come up to Solnichny, hit the medical, hit the well again, loot some houses, and then inland. Or if you're at Solnichny, just start off with Solnichny, inland to Dolina. From Dolina, you can always make your way back to the coast through a variety of different routes, which I'll show you, hopefully, at least point directionally and show you on the Eyes of Ive map which way you could do that. Or you can carry on and go to the bigger tier loot areas that we mentioned before. I hope you enjoyed that one. That's episode 4 in the can. Drop a like, drop a sub if you're not already subbed. Let me know in the comments what you want to see going forward. I'm probably going to record episode 5 straight after recording this one. So if you comment in episode 4 and you think he's completely ignored what I asked him to do in episode 5, it's because I've done them back to back. So really it's going to be episode 5 that will go out on the Sunday that will give me time to read comments of what you want to see going forward in episode 6 if we're not dead in the meantime. But hopefully I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out. Bye bye.